After my first Q&A on low heart rate training, I got a bunch of questions from you guys, and I get it. It's so simple that it kind of seems complex. But one question popped up over and over. What about speed work? There are a couple of things that I want to hit on real fast, and then we'll dive into the whole component of speed. But one, this is largely about building your aerobic system and giving you that amazing base platform to build from so you can get faster while working at a lower effort. I mean, that sounds pretty good, right? So commit yourself to it if you are gonna do the low heart rate training. Give yourself at least 12 weeks and then go race. Throw yourself in where you have to push really hard. You'll have had 12 weeks of understanding what easy feels like, and then it's time to start practicing what does harder feel like. I will tell you that many people who have gone through the low heart rate training plans, which I will link below, have emailed me after that first race and said they were blown away. They did not expect to run as fast as they did, and they didn't realize just how good they would feel. But it's because they were able to train more and train consistently. They weren't fatigued or injured from going too hard. All right, but what if you are in training and you are just dying to throw in some speed work? I have a couple of tips that can make it possible. The first is to find yourself a treadmill with the decline feature. That's right. Don't be doing any of this crazy stuff where you try to prop the treadmill up yourself. Find one with these buttons where you will see -1, usually to -3. Do your normal warm up and then pick like the middle 2 miles and set it to that negative decline, and you will absolutely be able to increase your speed while keeping your heart rate down. This is just a fantastic way for you to feel like you're kind of shaking out the cobwebs, getting your legs to move a little quicker, and remember what that turnover feels like. Obviously, if you don't have access to a decline treadmill, the ideal scenario is to try to find a very long downhill. That also means you're probably gonna have to go up. So use the uphill as maybe a long walk and consider that strength building. These hills absolutely 100% are going to make you faster. They build strength in your legs without the injuries that often come from speed work. So embrace a super long 1 mile uphill and then let it rip on the downhill. Enjoy it, which means you can't be running with that heel hitting first. You have to think about good form and allowing your body to flow down the hill. We don't want you to get injured because you're running downhill. If you don't have a decline and you don't have a long hill, then I'm gonna send you to the bike. I know it's not everyone's favorite, but you can hit up the stationary bike, whether it's in a spin class or on your own, and often keep your heart rate lower while still doing a little bit more intense workout. So a good way to think of this is if you're on the bike by yourself, throw in some 30-second hard all-out efforts. Again, watching, we're keeping that heart rate below your max, and then do a 2-minute recovery. This is giving you, again, that opportunity to just really work your legs a little bit harder, and even in the easy period, focus on aiming for a 90 RPM, which is your foot turnover, and most bikes will show you that. That is actually going to equate to what is the ideal foot strike, which is 180 footfalls per minute. So those are some ways that you can throw in speed. But if you feel like you've been following the low heart rate and you just aren't seeing results, there are a couple of other things to consider. Summer. Absolutely, heat is going to make you feel slower. And this isn't just for people with low heart rate training. Your body has to work harder to cool itself, and when there's humidity, it has to work twice as hard because the sweat can't evaporate. That means your heart rate is simply going to be higher. So you either need to mentally embrace that summer is your building period and just back off and enjoy the miles, or you're maybe gonna need to take some of them to the treadmill if you can find a cooler spot. If you're inside, find a fan. Do the things that I mentioned in my summer training tips video, which I will also link below. And that will help to keep your core cool, which is gonna help to keep your heart rate down. Now, the second component is obviously nutrition. There is just no getting around it. You have heard it forever. You can't outrun a bad diet, and especially when it does come to low heart rate training, it matters. If part of your goal is burning more fat, then you really need to make sure that you're keeping that blood sugar even, which means, maybe we don't exactly snack on all the cookies that we want all the time, or we have a cookie and we balance it with some protein. So remember, those things all come together. You do have to think about nutrition. I've gotten a lot of questions about if I believe you have to be keto to follow this, and I am absolutely not. I don't think you have to be, but I do think you need to opt for quality food. The better nourishment your body gets, the less stressed it is. Which leads to part number 3. Your heart rate is affected by total life stress. So if you are super stressed out at work, you might be noticing that on your runs, your heart rate is going up faster, and so you can't run as fast as you would like and stay below your threshold. That happens. Maybe what you really need is some mindfulness time. Maybe you just need a long walk to allow your body to totally chill out, and that's okay too. Remember to look at all of this in like a whole life scenario and how you can reduce total stress, which is going to make your runs feel better anyways. All right, friends, I hope that this answered a lot of the questions you guys have been emailing me with, and that it keeps you going on testing out low heart rate training. I think it's a phenomenal tool. I'm super excited for the people who I've coached through it, the people who have tested out the training plans, and they're just feeling so much better and enjoying marathon training in ways that they have not for years. That being said, I will always want to know what other questions you guys have. What information do you want to see here? So make sure you are commenting below. And of course, hit subscribe so you never miss out on another great tip.